For some reason, every manufacturer has decided to make an orange shoe this year. The new Timp 4 is a surprisingly cohesive and complete redesign of a shoe that's long been polarizing with each iteration. What Altra's created here is a shoe that falls somewhere between its popular low-drop Lone Peak and max-cushioned Olympus, while incorporating some new ideas similar to their Mont Blanc, but without all of the flash. Here, a medium-thickness layer of Ego Max midsole is connected to a familiar mesh upper that feels similar to the shoe's origins. You'll notice a unique set of drainage holes under the forefoot and a synthetic mesh pushed into the sides of the midsole. A redesigned and reinforced heel covered in protective overlays match the built-up tongue and laces. Their minimal Max Track outsole is incorporated, providing some traction, ultimately making a shoe that feels familiar but yet more robust. So, at $160, does the new Timp 4 have what it takes to compete against other trail offerings from Altra or even other brands? Is the Timp 4 the best Lone Peak that Topo would make if it was Altra? We have so many questions, so much to talk about in today's review. Let's dive in.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan and Barry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. Today we're going to just jump right into this thing. We're talking about a shoe from Altra. It is the Timp 4, a very polarizing shoe from its lineage. I've talked about Timp 1, 1.5, 2, many versions of the shoe on this channel before. This, I have to say, might be my favorite Timp yet, but it comes with a lot of caveats. Now, before we dive into the review, of course, I have to point out that this shoe was provided for review by Running Warehouse. I'm under no obligation to say anything positive or negative about the shoe. I'm not financially compensated in any way for anything that I say in this review. All opinions are my own, and no one has to approve this review before it goes up onto YouTube. You're the first. Good for you. With all of my reviews, I like to talk about the things that I like and dislike. The Timp 4 is no exception. Let's start with the things that I like. Ego Max midsole. So I do think this is one of the better midsoles that Altra's worked with. It's the same midsole that they used in their Mont Blanc shoe, which wasn't my favorite shoe, but not because of the midsole. Here, it is a good incorporation. You have enough underfoot to provide you with enough protection and some comfort. I would say that the incorporation in the Timp 4 doesn't feel as soft or bouncy as it did in the Mont Blanc, which I think is an okay thing because it provides you with just that more protection underfoot. For those who like a bit more underfoot protection, a bit more responsiveness or ground feel, the usage of Ego Max in the Timp 4 sort of excels in that. That's what I think is actually pretty interesting about the Timp 4 is how different it feels from other shoes using Ego Max like the Mont Blanc. I think it's really nice. Durability. I do think many of their shoes tend to break down prematurely, especially in that midsole department. They tend to flatten out early for me. The Timp 4 does a really good job of maintaining that life in the midsole. The materials they're using in the upper and across, including the welded overlays and a whole bunch around here in the heel, they're just good, solid materials that are going to give you lots of life out of this shoe. So I want to commend them here on making a shoe that will last longer than what I've experienced in the past. Finally, a Timp that I feel like I can trust. Fit. Another word that I don't often use to commend Altra. I have a lot of problems with their shoes fitting properly on my foot, whether that's across the midfoot or around the ankle. I do think that the Timp 4, while very different than many other Altra shoes, does a good job of sort of dialing it in a bit better, specifically around the heel. So where the Mont Blanc failed and was just a sloppy mess around the ankle, we get more structure and ability for this shoe to kind of lock around your heel a bit better. Despite the fact that the materials they're using are smoother, softer, I'm able to get a good lockdown, and that goes across the midfoot, across the tongue, and around the ankle. It all makes for a decent fit. I don't feel like I'm moving around a ton in the shoe. I don't feel like my toes are scraping the front or hoping for a smaller size. My size 11, fits true to size, and the shoe feels good, nice. The heel. As I just mentioned in the fit department, they are doing a lot here in the heel that I want to commend them on, because I think this is also one of the weakest points of a lot of their shoes is just how the heel fits, how the heel is built, the overall design. Here you have a bunch of welded overlays giving you tons of structure through the heel, while also allowing a bit of movement so you can tighten it down and it can kind of fit around your ankle bones. There's this subtle synthetic neoprene style material that is cushioned along the ankle collar. It makes for a soft, comfortable fit around the ankle without being obtrusive, causing any sort of chafing or blister issues whatsoever. The shoe is really easy along the Achilles. You have a great pull tab here to get the shoes on comfortably. The lockdown around the ankle does what it's supposed to do. So the Timp 4 is just vastly improved over a lot of Ultras and my experiences in Ultras because that heel is a bit easier to dial in. It's not perfect, but it is a huge step in the right direction. With that being said, it's not all vert challenges. Congratulations, everybody. We reached nearly 700,000 feet of vert accumulated this last weekend. Well done. Or brand new GR merch. There's links in the description. I'll take you over to our brand new hoodies, long sleeve shirts, beanies, and other delicious good items. There are a couple of things that I dislike about the Timp 4. Let's get to those now. Outsole. I don't necessarily think that Ultra's Max Track outsole is the best. I really like Vibram. I like light-based Vibram. There are some other compounds that I enjoy. Max Track tends to be towards the bottom of the pack for me. I don't get a ton of grip on wet surfaces, whether it's rocks, roots, bridges, stuff like that. But if you are running in drier climates, California, Southern California, Arizona, Utah, you'll probably be just fine. It really is in those weather or inclement conditions that outsole just doesn't really get you the grip. And the lug design, they're tapered in all directions, so you're not getting that like talon-like grip on certain surfaces. Especially through the forefoot, the lugs just aren't really designed in a way to get you the grip that you need. So really, grip and outsole, big weakness. Drainage holes. This is probably one of those things that you notice just from the look of the shoe. It clearly is a standout. These drainage holes do serve a purpose. They do allow water to drain from the inside of the shoe through the liner, through the strobel board, and out through the midsole. The problem is that these holes are actual lateral chambers within the midsole. The shoe will flex on those chambers. So if you take the liner out, you put your hand in there, you can feel where this shoe bends. I have now begun to feel that underfoot because the liner is sort of flattening out, as all Ultra liners do. I'm beginning to feel the wrinkles where those chambers want to flex at the forefoot of the shoe. It is a bit bothersome, especially when I can feel something like that in my shoe. And finally, price. The shoe is priced at $160. I think that is a very high price point to pay for a shoe that, in my opinion, is sort of their middle line trail shoe. I think the Mont Blanc is more race ready. Their Olympus is certainly for the ultra distance. Their Lone Peak is a really good through hiker / fast shoe. Their product line runs the gamut of prices. I think at $160, that's at the higher end. And there are just other shoes out there, whether it's from North Face, like the Endurus, some Hoka trail offerings that are just at a lower price points that still get you a really fun, dynamic ride. So at $160, it's just steep. And I wish it was $20 cheaper, but ultimately that's it for dislikes. So let's get a bit more specific in our breakdown. We talk about 5 different criteria from build quality, comfort, fit, price, and looks. Starting with build quality, I think this is a great example of what Ultra can do with their materials to make a good shoe that will last you a long time. Ego Max is good. I think the outsole is a weak point. This mesh upper is very dense, durable, if not a little thick. The welded overlays certainly overbuild the shoe, kind of making it a bigger, blockier version of previous Timps, but it will last you for plenty of miles, which is a good thing to say. And I think this is a good example of what Ultra can do. Comfort, I like the Ego Max midsole. I think this is a less cushioned version of what I would hope that the Timp 4 would be. It does make me excited about whatever future version of Olympus they have coming. Fit, I would say this is a good fitting Ultra. Again, an example of Ultra doing things right, especially around the heel and ankle. I think that is probably one of the best qualities of this shoe, especially comparing it to other Ultras and how they fit on your foot. Plenty of good lockdown and true to size, which is definitely something I need to point out, seeing as many of their shoes these days are all over the board when it comes to sizing. Price, $160. I made it one of my dislikes because I think that is a high price point to pay for a shoe like this. And finally, looks. I have just, man, I cannot get over how many shoes have come out this season that are bright orange. I don't know who sent the memo out to all the manufacturers to say, that's the color this year, make it so. It is very orange. I think there are other color versions that are going to be much more attractive. So this is not my favorite by any means. Bringing us finally to our conclusion. I have to say that the Timp 4 has been a fun daily trail trainer. I think it has restored some of my faith in the brand, in Ultra, especially after the Mont Blanc, which just was not my favorite shoe at all. I think it had a lot of failures, whereas this has a lot more successes, despite being a nearly complete redesign of a shoe that has a long lineage now in its fourth, if not fifth version, depending on the half versions. If you've been looking for a zero drop or a foot-shaped style shoe, I think this is a great baseline that will get you through all of those training miles and race miles comfortably and durably. Just be aware that it could be very condition specific. So if you run in rainier climates, wetter climates, you may have a bit more issue when running through mud on wet rocks, roots, bridges, stuff like that. While not Altra's cushiest or softest shoe underfoot, I think it gives you those dynamics that were very popular in early versions of the Lone Peak. While the Lone Peak has certainly gone far more minimal or reduced, I think the Timp 4 sort of fills that gap nicely. And I think many of you who are familiar with Altra's line will find a place right at home here in the Timp 4. It leaves me wanting a little bit more, but as I mentioned, it has restored a little bit of my faith in the brand, and it does get me excited to see where they go from here. Bringing us to our final criteria is the Timp 4 from Altra, a buy, try, or a why. I'm going to give this one a try. If you are familiar with the line, I think you'll fit right at home. I think this is a great version of the Timp, if not the best Timp yet. But if you're looking for more cushioning, it may not be it. Or if you're looking for something a bit snappier or lower profile, there are other options out there. Give it a shot. Give it a try. And that, my friends, is it for today's review. Of course, if you have any questions or you want more information about the Timp 4, I have a link in the description that will take you over to Running Warehouse. You can get all your running products there. For GR crew members, there's discount codes and stuff like that as well. Please consider supporting the channel by shopping there and using the link in the description. In the comments of this video, of course, let me know, have you run in any of the Timp versions, specifically the Timp 4? Is this the shoe that you've been looking forward to this season, and have you run in it? What do you think of it? Let's get that dialogue going. That's it, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed today's review. If you did, like, favorite, subscribe to this channel, social networks, join the GR crew, daily live streams, blah, blah, blah. And finally, we do have brand new GR merch. There are links just below this video. We'll take you over to our store at DFTBA. We partnered with them. We're very excited about it. There's long sleeves, hoodies, beanies, a whole bunch of good stuff, including an enamel pin. It's a drawing of our dog, Gus, who's been through so much, from cancer to having his jaw removed. We are still paying his medical bills, so the proceeds from that enamel pin go to help us pay for his medical bills. So check out those links down there. It's brand new. We're very excited about it. We're going to be announcing some new stuff here very soon, so stay tuned. Thanks, everyone. We hope you're having a great day. Get out there, train hard, race harder, and party the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next time. Bye!